What?
Where's the chair?
Who? What?
What's that with Tom do?
No, she was.
He said just put out the chair or something.
I didn't put nothing.
Who said that?
Who said that?
What to do? Oh, okay. You can have it until I need to write something. Just talk to an engineer. They usually have pens and pencils and pocket protectors and slide rules.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the February 4th, 2019 Crest Hill City Council meeting to order. If everyone will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please remain standing after the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On January 24th, the city of Crest Hill lost a very dear friend. Mr. Tom Larson, also known as Bud, passed away. Tom was at almost every meeting for about the last 15 years. You sit right over there in that chair, come with his little notebook, take notes. He was a good friend to all of us, and he's certainly going to be missed. At this funeral mass, his youngest son gave the eulogy and really encapsulated him with his eulogy that he gave. And he said that my dad was a very tough man, but he would give you the shirt off his back if you needed help. And he also said that his dad was very opinionated, which drew a lot of laughter from the people in church. Because we all know that Tom was very opinionated even here. But I appreciated that in him because he was the type of guy that would look you right in the eye and tell you what he thought. He thought if you were doing good or he thought you were doing bad. He didn't hold anything back. So we're gonna certainly miss him because I know that everybody sitting up here knew him, how meticulous he was with his yard, and just he was really a good guy. So we certainly want to offer our condolences to his wife Darlene, his two sons and his daughter, his grandchildren. I would just like to say to our dear friend, rest in peace. And now I would like to have a moment of silence in Tom Larson's honor. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ray Solomon?
Here.
Scott Dyke? Here. John Verche? Here. Barbara Scolaire?
Here.
Claudia Gazal?
Here.
Tina Oberlin?
Present.
Marco Coli DiPietro?
Here.
Nate Albert?
Here.
Tom Inman?
Here.
Glenn Conklin?
Present.
Okay. You have before you the minutes from the January 21st, 2019 Crest Hill City Council meeting. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Scolaire, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal. Questions or comments in regards to the minutes of the City Council meeting held on January 21st, 2019? Roll call, please.
Marco Coli DiPietro?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Tom Inman?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
John Verche?
Yes.
Barbara Scolaire?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You also have before you the minutes of the work session held on January 28th, 2019. Motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Cola DiPietro, seconded by Alderman Dyke for the minutes of the work session held on January 28th, 2019. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
John Verche?
Yes.
Barbara Scolaire?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Tom Inman?
Abstain.
Marco Coli DiPietro?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we do not have a business promotion this evening, so we'll go with our agenda. Our city administrator, Heather McGuire. Good evening, Heather.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item I have for your consideration this evening is a Lockport Township Park District request for waiver of a building permit fee for the Cambridge Crest Playground renovation. The estimate is currently at $1,860. We will not know an exact amount until they submit their building plans, which they still intend to do, but they are seeking a permit waiver on this one.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Verche, for a waiver of the permit fee for the Lockport Park District and the playground. Questions or comments? Johnson.
All inspections and things that are necessary will still be,
It'll still go through the exact same channels, they just
All
will not pay the fee.
thank you.
Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Barbara Scoler,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Marco Pietro,
Yes.
Tom Inman,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item I have for consideration is an ordinance adopting a flood damage prevention ordinance. We do have Dana Ludwig from Robinson Engineering in case there are any questions. This was discussed at last week's work session. We are required to pass a updated flood damage prevention ordinance as part of our participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. This is just updates per EPA. They have reviewed it already to this point, so we are just looking to proceed with that and implement that into our ordinance.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Albert. Questions or comments in regards to an ordinance adopting flood damage prevention ordinance?
Can I ask Dana something? We got a creek going through the town where the apartment buildings and the library used to be. And it used to, at one time, you could step across, it was 3 feet wide. When they rebuilt Theodore Street, put a bigger whistle through under the street, they brought more water in from Joliet. Not a piece that was 3 feet wide, it was about 15 feet wide and about 10 feet deep. And they say they can't do nothing about it, it's not their fault, it's our problem. How can we get that remedy? And it's not gonna wash a guy's garage out just 2 doors away also now.
Alderman, I believe, just in respect to Dana, she hasn't been involved in this project. We did
Oh.
work with one of our other engineers on this to review that exact situation. And the city, neither Joliet nor the city of Crest Hill did anything to contribute to that water. The issue was that creek was rerouted around those property owners' houses, and eventually the water just found its way back to its natural path. So there was nothing that the city approved of any building in that area. I mean, this is sort of tied to that floodplain issue, but unfortunately, the owner built in that property when he should have not diverted that creek around, and that's what caused that damage.
And those letters were sent to those homeowners?
That is correct. I think about 2 years ago, we looked at that.
Yeah, that's been in there for 25 years, 30 years now. And I never had that much water before until the state rerouted that water, not Joliet or us. The state did that.
Well, nothing was done improperly by any of the municipalities or the state when all of those culverts were carved out.
What can be done about it, that down there?
Unfortunately, the owner is in a floodplain and they are right in the path of that creek. So it's just a situation where they built in an area that they should not have built on.
Are you
When they
saying-
built, I don't think it was a floodplain there.
Looking back at the maps, it's always where the creek is now is exactly where it used to run.
Are you saying one property owner is affected, or there's several that are?
I think it's one in particular that's heavily affected. It may be one other slightly.
There's
Yeah,
two
I
of
think
them.
there was two.
There's
And,
two
you know,
of
we went through all of this a couple years ago. He got a letter, Claudia and I were involved in that, and it was all, the man is very well aware of what happened back
Correct.
then.
Yeah.
Mayor, I have a typo.
Okay?
Page 30. Letter B up at the top, 1 down below. The sentence reads, "When water is flowing from a narrow section to a wider section, the water should be assumed to expand no faster than a rate of 1 foot horizontal for every 1 feet." That should be foot.
Thank you for finding that. We'll make
No
that
problem.
correction.
I had a lot of time.
You must have had a sleepless couple nights.
Read it all the way to page 30. Good for
You okay,
you.
buddy?
All right, motion with the correction? And to the
Yes.
second.
What page is that?
Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche,
Yes.
Barbara Scoler,
Yes,
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Marco Pietro,
Yes.
Tom Inman,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Ordinance number is 1798.
Tom, we know what you did over those cold days.
And I would just like to thank Dana Ludwig for all her work on that ordinance. I know it's been several months, probably a little bit longer than that worth of work to get that updated, so thank you.
Whole process was like 10 years when that started, so no time we're on. Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
And for my final agenda item this evening, I will hand it over to the Assistant City Administrator, Megan Falera.
Thank you, Heather. As discussed previously at our work session, we have a vacancy in our Public Works Department for the receptionist clerk. And we respectfully request permission to hire the next available eligible candidate on our list of candidates.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Verche. Questions or comments?
Well, I see that, we're gonna discuss it in executive session,
We did last week, so there's nothing new to add to that.
so, okay. Guess my letter's typed wrong. It says will be discussed.
I believe this memo was from the
Okay.
work session packet.
Just clearing that up.
Yeah, because it says January 25th.
Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Marco Coldi-Petro.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Tom Inman.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That was the final agenda item I had for consideration this evening. There will be a work session on February 11th. Current topics include non-conforming uses, as well as a financial presentation by PMA with additional topics still being developed. One item of note, I did receive a couple calls, and I know the utility billing did as well regarding the garbage pickup. It appears there was a slight mix-up from the information Republic Services provided to us versus what the collection days actually were. So I believe they had crews out today picking up what remained from Saturday. I believe when some of the residents called, they were told they would be getting pickup tomorrow versus today. So we have asked them, and they will be sending out a second service just for the miscellaneous pickup that did not occur today. And I know particularly Karen Williams Street were affected by it, so those areas will be getting a second service, but everybody else will still be on their regular collection day this week.
I did call because they were out on the day that we were told they were coming the next day, and they were on my street. Of course, our garbage wasn't out because we were told they were coming the next day. So I called him, and even he was confused as to what was passed on to what. And he said, well, we will make sure that we get it all. And I said, you know, people were putting it back in, and, you know, so.
Right. It was definitely a little bit of confusion with the days that we were communicated that the garbage company
Right.
would be back out there versus when they were. So we have rectified that for next time. If anybody is missing service, please call City Hall, please call Republic, and they will make sure to get additional services out there.
Whispering Meadows did get picked up today.
Okay, great. And with that, I would answer any questions anybody has this evening.
Questions of City Administrator? Thanks, Heather. Public Works Department, our Director of Public Works, Tom Miggets. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My first item on the agenda is the backup as a service proposal the council considered at the last work session. Staff solicited bids from several companies, receiving a response from three, selecting Vertec as the lowest responsive bidder. We seek to enter into an agreement with that company for a 3-year fee of $30,600 for backup service for the sewer and water treatment plants.
And again, this was discussed at last Monday evening's work session. Motion would be in order.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal. Questions or comments in regards to the Vertec backup service proposal? Roll call.
Tom Inman.
Abstain.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Marco Coldi-Petro.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on our agenda is seeking council's approval to reject bids for the collection system diversion structure that we received. The bids came in much higher than anticipated, and as we discussed at the last work session, this was determined to be because of the site location of this structure and the difficulties in reaching that. We seek to
So
reject
moved.
the bids. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Verche for the rejection of the bids on the collection system diversion structure. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Tom Inman.
Abstain.
Marco Coldi-Petro.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Finally, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the Public Works crew members over this last week. It was a very difficult week weather-wise, and also to Director Seifert Koch for their efforts in preparing plans to deal with and address the cold weather. Our streets crews were ready to respond and did so as well on Thursday with a snow event that lasted quite a while. And more importantly, our sewer crews took care of the sewage treatment plants and the wells, performing functions outside for a good 2 to 3 days, performing some tasks that most people would not consider very pleasant in a sewage plant. But they took care of things as necessary, protected the equipment, and kept everything running as it should. And I'm very grateful for their efforts and also that of the directors for their planning. And I'd like to extend my gratitude and appreciation for their efforts.
And I will echo that, because I will say that my gratitude to the entire Public Works, to the police department, to all the employees here. It was a rough week. The Public Works, the street guys had everything in order with the roads on Tuesday before we had the drastic drop in the temperatures to the minus 30s and 40s with the wind chill, which really assisted. The crews that came out on Wednesday, both on the street side and the treatment plant side, made sure everything was operating. There was a lot of things that could have gone wrong that didn't, because we were on site and we were prepared for it, outside of the ice that everybody was dealing with, but somebody had to be there to scrape the ice off a lot of the machinery. So we got through it. It was a rough week. I know that the police department, I'll save my comments for them when the chief goes, but just my gratitude to everybody in the Public Works Department too, because there was a lot of extra hours with snow plowing, and it looks like we need to get ready tomorrow night, because there's gonna be a little ice storm tomorrow night that's gonna probably affect everybody for the commute on Wednesday morning. So, could be another rough week coming up here again. Not as cold though.
No, they're ready for it, sir.
Tom, give them all our thanks.
Thank you. That's all I have for this evening. If there's any questions of Public Works, I'm happy to address those.
Any questions of Public Works? Thanks, Tom. Moving on to the Community Development Department, our Director, Economic Development Director, Scott McMaster. Good evening, Scott.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 2 items this evening. The first is for a resolution authorizing a redevelopment agreement with Fuller's Car Wash. This is a similar agreement to what Flooring First had that we passed a couple of months ago. The difference is the incentive amount, which is found on page 11, section 13. I would like to note, too, that Exhibit A is a typo. That is actually not their address and legal description. That came off of the last agreement, so I will make that change. Other than that, staff is looking to pass this, and they do have a representative here as well, Mr. George Arnold, who represents Fuller's, if anyone has any questions.
Motion would be in order?
So moved.
So moved.
There was a motion already.
There was?
I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Verche, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal. Questions or comments in regards to the resolution authorizing a redevelopment agreement with Fuller's Car Wash? Questions or comments? Roll call.
Marco Coli Petro.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Tom Inman.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries. And that's resolution number is 1021.
Thank you. The second is the ordinance approving the revisions to the sign code that were discussed at last week's work session. I think Maura's got a memo here that outlines some of the changes that were discussed last week, including deletion of the inspection fee, a section on the premises sign, maintenance of landscape and material signs. That was all sent by Maura, and then those changes are reflected in the actual sign code of the final draft. So staff is seeking approval for that.
So did they actually eliminate the fee or the inspection itself?
No, the fee will be removed, from what I understand. We will make sure that those, we probably should keep that inspection of signs current.
So the idea is that we can still have the ability to inspect them and
Correct.
ticket them if it's not up to par in terms of materials or where.
But it's not an annual thing that's
Correct.
necessary, so
Right.
it'll be, the verbiage will reflect that.
Correct.
Because as it stood, it didn't.
Right. We'll
I
change
just want to
that.
make sure, because it didn't make any sense. So moved with the changes.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Owen, seconded by Alderman Cola DiPietro. Questions or comments in regards to the motion? Roll call, please.
Barbara Scoler,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Tom Inman.
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Margot Cole DePietro,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Ordinance number is 1799.
Thank you. I have one announcement. Next week's Plan Commission meeting will address an agenda item for a setback variance to split a townhome unit at 2532, 2534 Red Oak Trail, similar to what we did, I believe last summer with another Red Oak property. The setbacks are a little different on that property, but that will be the agenda item for this upcoming Plan Commission. And with that, I will answer any questions.
Any questions of economic development?
Hey, Scott, does the Fullers have a timeline that,
They are ready to go as soon as they can assure that the weather will cooperate.
The agreement does have a drop dead of
Yeah.
August 1st. They need to have.
August 1st needs to be the completion date for that property, but they're just waiting for that weather to warm up before they really hit the ground.
thank you.
Good, because my car needs washing.
I think everybody does.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Police Department, our Police Chief, Ed Clark, good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have anything on the agenda this evening. I just wanted to update council. We have, through the last few snows that we've had, we were out trying to do our best to address the snow parking. We've written 158 tickets since then. That's in addition to our police duties, normal day-to-day activities. So they're out there working hard. Obviously, with the cold weather, it was kind of a rough couple days. Everybody's okay, so that's the main thing. But that's all I have. My report is in your packet.
You know what, I still have to say, it always amazes me that we will get people calling and complaining when the streets aren't plowed all the way. And then there's 10 cars on the road in the way, so they can't be plowed. And you just scratch your head and you're just like, the plows don't fly over them, they don't go under them. So, you know, you need to get those cars off the street.
Yeah, I mean, anybody with larger families, it's just one of those things. Who's got to go out first in the morning, so
Yeah.
plan accordingly.
And I see in your report you have purchased 2 of those speed signs. Do you have any ideas of where some of those locations may be set up?
I'll have a, they're gonna move throughout the whole city, so they're gonna bounce around. The areas that we've had complaints on, especially areas maybe aldermen got stopped, I don't know, for speeding at certain times. It might be there just as but, I'm just kidding. It is gonna go rotating throughout the city. I like about a 2-week, maybe a month at a time. We're just now trying to get the software and everything ready to go, so.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank the men for their efforts.
Will do.
Yeah, thanks to the police department, our gratitude to them also, because that was not easy conditions to be in, especially at night when the wind was blowing, even made it more tricky. But, you know, unfortunately, we didn't have much activity, I don't think, during those 2 days. So everything worked out, everybody made it through. So our gratitude to all the men and women of the police department also.
Thank you.
Ed,
I'll pass that along.
tell the fellows thanks that came over and looked at their poll.
Chief?
Will do.
I talked to you before, we got a vehicle that's been out on the street, and I mentioned to you before, like 2 snows, well, now it's 3 snows, but it's never been moved. It sits there, plows go around it, and what can we do about that?
Well, we can talk afterwards, the next time this happens. I mean, if it's been a problem, I've been talking with the street department as well to say, if there's problem vehicles, we're gonna have to start towing these. And we'll go ahead and do them. We're not gonna be able to get every vehicle in the city, but we'll take care of the vehicles that have been sitting there, and they're gonna get towed. It's just the way it is, so.
Like I said, it's been there for over 3 snows now, so.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Mayor's report, I have nothing on the agenda. Anybody, I try to answer any questions that anybody may have. Hearing none, we'll move on to the city clerk's report. Our city clerk, Vicki Hackney.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have nothing this evening on the agenda. Any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Thanks, Vic.
Stay warm and safe. Thank you.
Treasurer's report, our treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Well, good evening, Ray and council. I'd like to report regular and overtime payroll from January 7th, 19 through January 20th, 19 in the amount of $224,460 $426.62. I seek your approval on our list of bills, which for that same period totals $367,193.62.
Motion would be in order.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderwoman Oberlin. Questions or comments in regards to the motion for the list of bills? Roll call, please.
John Verche.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
Marco Cole DePietro.
Yes.
Tom Inman.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, all. I want to say, on behalf of Tom and Marson, you'll be missed, and I love you, buddy. And I'll entertain any questions.
Questions of City Treasurer?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Glenn.
night.
New business, we have nothing on the agenda. Anybody? Old business? Anybody? Committee liaison reports. Anyone? City council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with your constituents? We'll begin with Ward 1 this evening. Alderman Dyke?
I just want to wish my wife a happy anniversary and also a happy Valentine's Day.
Alderman Verche?
Nothing to report.
Ward 2, Alderwoman Sclair?
Nothing this evening.
Alderwoman Gazal?
I have nothing to comment besides, hi, Bill. On TV, he's watching me. Oh, you too, hi. It was for
Ward 3, Alderwoman Oberlin?
Well, I want to wish everybody out there a happy Valentine's Day and make sure you take care of your sweeties, whoever they are.
Alderman Cola DiPietro?
I'd like to thank all the residents for their, I'm all flustered now.
I just said that he did thank his sweetie tonight by bringing me candy, so that's what's, he's all flustered now.
Whatever, I'll pass, go ahead.
We'll come back to you, Martha.
Yeah, kill yourself.
Ward 4, Alderman Albert?
I was just gonna say, obviously, we, thanks to the Public Works Department and the Police Department for all their hard work, but also thanks to the residents that, do follow the rules, do move the cars, and also just the residents that go out and help their neighbors. There's a lot of kids in my neighborhood that were out shoveling and moving snow for some of the older residents, and even just neighbors that don't get around real well, and we're helping out other neighbors. It's just great to see. There's 2 blocks of Lincoln Avenue, there's a guy that walks the entire street, the entire sidewalk, and snow blows the entire sidewalk, both sides, in both blocks. So thank you to all those great residents. Thanks, Mayor.
Alderman Inman?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate again the Public Works people and our police department. That was brutal out there, so thank you very much, and you kept the ball rolling. Nice going, guys.
Public comment. Anybody who'd like to address city council, need to come to the podium.
Come on, Bill.
State your name for the record, your address is optional. Let the record show no one has approached the podium. To our city administrator, Heather, is there a need for an executive session?
No, there's not, Mayor.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
We have motion for an adjournment by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Verche. Roll call, please.
Tom Inman.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Marco Cole DePietro.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Barbara Scoler.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:29 PM. Thank you and good evening.
Great job, Ray.
Hey, Scott.